Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, what is most important? What's the most important thing? In Zen practice, we spend our lives asking questions. We probe into our inner selves. We ask questions about life, about death, about all the possibilities of existence. So what's the most important thing? When we ask such a question, like what's the most important thing, it usually raises about 100 questions come around it. Is the most important thing to trust ourselves, to trust Zazen, so that we allow ourselves to be seen in Zazen? It's the most important thing. Is it to learn to have a peaceful household, to be able to bring the equanimity of practice into daily life in our homes? What's the most important thing? Is it to sit Zazen with correct isn't quite right the word, with a wholesome posture that allows us to be completely present? Is that the most important thing? What's most important? Is it to sit with incredible effort in our Zazen, to be present through each moment of the sitting? Is that what's most important? What's most important? Is it to be diligent in our attitude toward the requirements of our lives? Is it to live with clarity about our purpose? What's most important? Is it to ask, why are we here? What are we doing here? Each of us came here tonight. We can ask, is it most important to know why we came here? What brought us here? So this question is an excellent one because we probe in all directions with that, because it's an almost impossible thing to answer. And in trying to answer it, we look at this wide array of life that's before us with all of the things that we do, and we question, how is that? How am I? How am I in what I do and how I live? Have I opened myself to see deeply into my own nature? Have I fulfilled my commitments? I mean, the questions are endless. And we ask what's most important. We don't come to any single answer for that. Maybe we do after we've exhausted all the possibilities. Maybe we come to one final answer. And when the Buddha was dying, he said to the community in front of him, he said, what are your questions? What are your questions? What are they? Hurry up, life is short, I'm dying. What are your questions? And of course, we are all dying. And the question is for us, have we done what we feel we came to do? Is there something that needs to be done in our lives? looked into it deeply enough to say, yes, I am okay. I can die now because I did it. What's the most important thing? Well, as you can imagine by now, you're not going to get an answer from me on what's the most important thing. But I offer you that question. Each of us must answer the questions in our own way in our own lives. We must satisfy those answers, satisfy the question in the best way possible, bringing our Buddha nature to the fore, to face into ourselves, to look into ourselves, and to allow some shining of the light to look at aspects of ourselves. Not that we are always going to find wonderful answers within. We are going to find as much darkness as we find light. And that's to be deeply honest. We must look at our faults as well as our abilities, our talents, and all that we are. So, what's the most important thing? So, just a short Dharma talk tonight, an encouragement talk. Does anybody have any questions? New people, if you have any questions about practice or the space where we are, anything is fine.
How do you properly sit with your legs crossed?
Well, properly is not it. You have to figure out with your own legs how your legs fit together. So properly is only for you and not anybody else. And all of us come to sit zazen and really difficult when we begin to sit, to fold our legs and kind of unnatural for us. And American men have a difficult time with it because their muscles are very large. Now, Indian and Japanese monks have very little tiny muscles. I mean, they're strong, but they don't have the profound bodies that American men have. So American men have a difficult time with that. And so you have to find your way. You're not going to get that the first time you sit. But the most important thing is the upright of your back. That is most important because the breath then has its clear passage to oxygenate the body. So how you do your legs is less important than how you do your upper body. Holding your back, there's a hyper extension in the lower back and in the middle back that allows the top of the back to just sit straight onto your spine. And when you let it be there, it's a quite relaxed position when you train yourself with your back in that way. And it's the proper posture for whatever you do. Proper posture if you play the piano, if you do music, if you dance, if you are sitting at your computer, whatever it is you are doing, that is the best posture for your whole life, and it will prevent your back from breaking down as you age. So there are various ways to do your legs, but you've got to figure those out for yourself, because also you can sit and have pain and injure your legs if you don't understand the difference between stress from sitting or pain that is injurious. So you have to know that difference. I think most of us do. We know when we're hurting ourselves versus when it's just hard. So best is, or proper or anything like that is not, I can't answer for you. You have to begin to investigate how to sit. But the way you sat, many of you sat, straddling the cushion with your legs behind you. It was a perfectly fine way to sit. When I first started practice, I sat like that for about a year. And I was afraid to sit with my legs in front of me because, you know, I practiced in a place where you just didn't move. And so it was terrifying to me to think that the bell would ring and there I would be locked into this position. And, you know, it seemed like a torturous thing to me. But I could manage very nicely in sitting in the way that you sat the second period. And it can be quite comfortable. And you feel then that you've succeeded in maybe a good period of being with yourself without the stress of thinking too much about your legs. Although thinking about your legs can be the beginning of Zazen also. So pain in Zazen can be the beginning of meditation. And it's not bad, but we, as I said earlier, we need to know the difference between simply discomfort and injury. So, yeah. Anything else, anybody? This is your good chance about anything at all. All right, well, when the teacher asks, do you have any questions? Everyone in the whole place should have a question. The value is that everybody has learned something now about this man's question. And we've all expanded our understanding then of what it is to sit and what it is about the legs. So every question is valuable to everybody, and a simple question may seem foolish or something, but it's not. There is no such thing as a wrong or a foolish or too simple a question. So, okay.